All right, everyone, we are back with another episode of the Sound Booth. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Lombax,
Josh Crespo,
and today we have President Bluff in the building. Thank you so much for jumping on.
President Bluff.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely.
So President Bluff, can you first tell us where are you currently located?
I'm in Long Island, New York.
Long Island, New York. Awesome, man. How long have you always lived there?
Yeah, my whole life I lived here. I mean, until I left, and then I came back and I'm back.
Okay. Where'd you move to once you came back?
Well, when I was in the service, I was kind of going all over
Yeah.
the place.
Okay.
He put out a video recently where his friend was recording him and he was producing and he was in his uniform, and that's how I knew that he was in the service. I was like, oh,
yeah, I was on a ship.
Well, how old are you again?
I'm 25.
Okay,
25.
yeah.
Okay.
You just look young, and now you got the facial hair, so you look older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only grew it out. I grew it out for the interview.
Oh, more mature.
Gotta look like the real president.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I was
good.
trying to explain it.
Cool, man. So what first got you into making music? I guess like how did that all start for you?
So my brother is the one who started in music, and I would watch him. He's in his 30s, so he's been doing music his entire life, and I'd watch him, and he was on like the first Fruity Loops, like he was doing all that shit, and I'd watch him, and as soon as he got off, I would go in there and just tinker around, and then eventually, like as I'd be in the room more, he'd ask me like, oh, how's this sound, and then I'd give my input, and then eventually I started making stuff on my own. And in like high school, I would record bands, like metal bands.
Okay.
And then, I didn't get into hip hop producing until like 2013 maybe.
2013. Okay.
7 years though, that's a long time.
Was there something that kind of like sparked your interest to start creating, like doing hip hop stuff, or?
You know what? I found it kind of organically. I mean, I've always been around hip hop because my friends would listen to it more than me. I was always a metalhead. But then I just started tinkering around on my own, and I just had to literally learn all the hip hop artists and everything on my own because I just I dove back into it and I just loved it, so I just kept going.
Gotcha. Cool, man. How would you really describe the music you make? I know it's like hip hop. Is there like any way to describe it for those who are tuning in, hearing your name for the first time, or anybody who's
You know what? Well, it depends, because as an artist, I definitely, the standard resonate towards like the J. Cole, Kendrick's type, the old school shit. Like I like really jazzy elements in my stuff, but I mostly make because of supply and demand, whatever people want, which is usually more modern shit. So as a producer, I am better making more pop records, like in the hip hop community, trap records. But as an artist, I usually tend to dive back more jazz and old school, and like something with a groove and melody. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's like because me, him, and Andre have a track on his EP that Bluff's putting out next spring.
Yeah, that's what I'm shooting for next. I was gonna do it this fall, but then I was like, you know what, I should probably do it the right way and actually prepare for it. So
do a rollout and the whole thing.
Break.
Yeah, and that's like a vibey.
That takes a minute to do too.
And what did you say? What kind of vibe did you say that was on that one? You were getting into your what? Who was it?
I was getting into my Smino vibe.
Smino.
Yeah, Smino. I've been listening to him a lot lately. I just like how he combines those two elements. Like he has like his wordplay and stuff, but he gives like a new school flow, but like an old school sounding beat sometimes, and it's like really dope to hear. So I try to like emulate different things so that I could build myself to eventually become more original with it.
And it's a good sounding, like your voice fits it well. I remember when you sent the snippet of it, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good, because I mean,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I was impressed by it, which is cool because a lot of Andre's stuff, it'll be like Smino type vibe or whatever is what he'll,
Yeah, he's good. I've been like falling in love with all of his everything he makes is just so like it has that vibe to it. It's kind of like positive sounding, but still,
yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
That's his
it's very bright.
Yeah, super bright. Like he came out with a project recently. It was good.
Yeah. I actually listened to that. I listened to the whole thing. I messaged him about it. I was like, man, I wish you put those things on some site or something like that, because now I gotta listen to them, and I could totally like wish I could write to these. But
oh yeah,
it's not a big
yeah,
deal.
because he came out with them, so they're out there already. Yeah.
I feel like what's your creative process like? Like how do you first start something out? Is it typically beat, maybe like some of these lyrics that kind of like ping to your head, or how's it go?
Say from an artist standpoint, for the most part, it's always like especially when you're creating the beat, it comes from like all right, what's the vibe I'm going for? And I'll usually listen to a bunch of tracks that kind of get me in the mood for it, and then I'll just go scrounge and do samples to find like a melody that vibes with me. As far as beats, I've been actually changing from starting with the melody to starting with the actual beat, and then I just drag and drop melodies into it and find the one that perfectly like goes for it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, flipping it up
is, I guess, not like I never used to do that. I always used to start the melody, but then I learned that sometimes like I just want to get like in the rhythm first before I start actually like, you know what I mean?
That's a pretty effective way to kind of just run through different melodies and then find what picks. That's actually really, really cool.
Never done that.
Yeah, gotta try that. So, I guess who if you could choose, who is somebody you would like to collab with?
Oh man,
anybody?
I mean,
Smino.
I definitely love to collab with Smino, or anybody who's like out of the blue. Like I'd love to collab with Smino. Obviously, who wouldn't want to collab with the top threes? You know what I mean?
Right.
The fucking Cole, Kendrick, Drakes. But like, honestly, I would like to collab with people doing I would like to make like a pop record with someone. I don't know. I never did that. Like something just like
a Bieber record,
radio type shit. Yeah, dude, Bieber, like Post Malone.
Yeah,
I'm sure being in the studio with him is just like crazy because it's like writing like a band song.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Do you play any instruments?
Enough to get by.
Yeah.
I definitely. I'm like the same way with sports. Like I know how to play enough to like look like I could do it, or at least I learned enough mixing and editing to be able to make myself sound good. Like I could play some guitar. I played like clarinet in high school for like 9 years, but I don't really play that anymore. I actually bought a sax. Trying to learn how to do that because I always play beats. So. But bass, a little bit of key.
Nice. Okay, so you're the total package.
Yeah.
When it comes to being an artist.
Yeah, I'm like I guess so. I'm like a total package of like enough
to get by. That's cool. No, that's versatile, man. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Brings layers to you.
It took a while.
Yeah, it always does. Okay, so what was something that you noticed kicked up your game to the next level, like helped you level up, producing or as an artist, vocal-wise? What was something big for you that helped you?
As I think, honestly, working with other people and not just trying to do everything myself. Like, I feel like once I started using other producers like you and really once I got to Twitter, like, I just started making some shit I've never made before. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when you work on your own shit, you have such an expectation, like a high expectation of what you want to be, versus like, that's why I feel like features are always easier because you're just going and you just have a little time block and you just do what you need to do in that time block. And you don't set such a high expectation for yourself that's unattainable. You know what I mean? Like, you just do it organically. So working with you and like all these other Twitter producers, like, it made me get out of my comfort zone, you know what I mean, and try new things.
Right.
Okay. Awesome.
Which is how you grow.
Yeah.
Twitter, man, helps so much, in my opinion. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have like any type of business with music if it wasn't for Twitter.
Do you find yourself on Twitter the most, or what are some platforms that have really, really helped you kind of grow your audience and all that?
I definitely, like, I started out on Instagram. That's like, I started all my music on Instagram. And really, to me, Instagram didn't really do anything for me besides my friends seeing my shit.
Yeah.
And I would just be stagnant. Like I didn't really feel like doing the whole follow a million people, because then your feed gets all crazy. And so that as soon as I moved to Twitter, that's what was the best for me. Like that's like the best for artists, best for like any type of creative that's not a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It really stepped everything up. I think every artist should have a Twitter.
Absolutely.
It actually led into our next question, but you already hit it. It was like really what stepped up your game in a sense. So it's definitely Twitter. So for any of those listening, and if you guys are looking to step up your game, start reaching out, collab. Don't be shy.
Talking on Twitter. Start
on
conversating with people on Twitter, man. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah.
And then once
really
you get some traction, for sure, like things start changing.
Yeah, definitely. What is like one piece of advice that you would like to tell those for anybody tuning in terms of just anything that's like come to you that has helped you grow?
I think again, like as if we're like not setting an expectation for yourself right off the bat to like for instance, like me, I set this expectation starting rapping because I had such respect for hip hop. Mm-hmm. That I wanted to be this like MC, like just like all I cared about was like trying to get that, like just like, and I wouldn't even dive into like anything pop or anything like that. So just don't keep yourself in a box, especially as an upcoming artist, because realistically, no one is listening until you make them or until you market yourself. Like, and you can't be afraid to do that. So like, I think unless like you're already on your way, like you should. And even when you're on your way, you should just try every single type of style, every single anything that as a producer. Don't just make one thing. Like if you're selling one thing, make another until that one's popping. Like just follow your own lane, and people are gonna follow. Like just organic. Like 10 fans is better than 1,000 followers. So
10
just be personable with people. Like talk to people. Like don't just be like a robot.
There you go. That's some good advice, man. Yeah, definitely like that.
Well, for you being in New York, if you could pick someone, if you could pick someone from New York to work with, who's your favorite out of New York?
I would say like obvious ones like Joey Badass or something like that. But obviously, like I've worked with them. But honestly, the upcoming ones I've been watching are like Marlon Craft, Radamiz. Like they're like some upcoming ones.
Okay.
And like I would just love to work with just like people who are like them, because they're like the fresh air. Like they're the new breed that's coming out.
Right.
And they're more like, you know what I mean, like where I'm at. You know, like they're feel more like a peer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I've been to like a couple craft shows, and he just like has that energy that is just, like it feels like I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? And like I'm sure most of those artists have that energy, but until then, I just kind of want to work my way up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd rather work with people who are serious in New York.
Yeah. Who have you played with, like when you would do shows before all this craziness happened? Who have you?
It was really honestly the only shows I would do were more local and just local artists. You know, like just people honestly like in our community.
Okay.
Me and my brother run a studio out in Hicksville.
Nice.
Nassau County, Long Island, and we would host our own shows, and we would just everybody that recorded at our studio, we'd give them a spot in the studio as a venue to perform. You know what I mean? So all these new artists and stuff. So I would really just perform with them, and they have a thing in New York called Major Stage, where they host a lot of events in the city for you for young artists or upcoming artists to be able to get a spot, and I would just play with a lot of local upcoming talent.
Okay. That's cool. You guys have your actual like own studio space that you rent out, and then just have artists come through.
Yeah, it's dope. We pack like 90 people in like this small ass room, but it's like so awesome.
I bet the energy gets crazy in there.
That's cool though. I don't think we've ever I mean, obviously like this is like a home studio, but you have your own space that you rent out and have artists come to and stuff. So there's not a lot of people doing that. Like.
That kind of brings a whole new vibe to it too, because it's like, oh wow, like it's not just in your room. Yeah, you're going somewhere else and you're seeing all this stuff.
It feels more like work.
Yeah. But which is good though.
Oh, that's so true. And it's like it's almost like hard to even write at home now, which I kind of want to get back into. That's why I'm trying to build my setup again. But like when you're there, it's just like your mindset just changes in like 2 seconds. You're like, I'm here to get this done. Like,
exactly.
I'm not here to mess around or anything like that. Like I want to get shit done.
And you're paying like per hour and all that too, so you gotta make the you know what I mean?
The vibes are just good. Shout out my brother, Producer Public. Follow him on anything. He's the man. He's a legend.
I don't even think I found him yet. I don't think I.
He's more on like Instagram right now. He just works so much in the studio. Like he's there. Like it's his studio. Him and his friend Crema J, who is an artist and videographer and stuff like that. Both of them built it like from the ground up.
They're the ones paying the bills and keeping the lights on.
Yeah, well, I pay a little rent.
It seems like you're there a lot, like from the videos that you post when you're in the studio working.
I try to be there.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of song that's maybe your favorite that for anybody who's listening, you definitely would want to point them in that direction?
You know what song I think is like one of the best songs ever made? And I would love to, like, I love how it's, you know, Galimatias? I recommend you look it up. The song South of them. Man, that song was amazing. Like,
what was it called
like
again?
The mix and like just the vibes of it. Like, if I could make a whole album of songs like that, like, it's like different. It's not like traditional sounding shit. It's like very smooth and soft, but like still like hits.
Okay.
And I love like stuff that he makes, like just those attention to detail producers, like beat producers. You know what I mean? That like really put like little less is more shit. Like he's really good at doing stuff like that. So I highly recommend him. And pretty much like, everybody. That's just something that I know not a lot of people know. I could easily say like another Smino song or J. Cole or something like that. But I recommend that.
What about your stuff? Like, what's your favorite? If you pointed somebody in your direction.
My favorite song that I've ever made is, I actually just posted on Twitter like a video that never got finished for it. It's called Let Me Let Go. That's like, I wish I could just make all my music sound like that.
Okay.
Let Me Let Go.
So we'll have to link that.
Sure. Definitely.
We'll that one.
Yeah, definitely different than what's going to come in the spring. The spring is a lot more upbeat, fun stuff. But I want to try to do that stuff too. I don't want to be like just sad all the time.
Well, there's multiple sides to an artist.
Yeah,
sure.
That's true.
And I'm not really sad. I'm like sad like maybe 10%, 5% of the time. So.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good though. At least you're willing to tap into it and show that it's there and it's real, because that's another part
exactly.
of it too.
That's why I wanted to tap into it only as much as it happens for me, because I feel like then people are like, okay, it's like legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a theme for you where it's all your music is like that.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining us on the sound booth today. I'm Josh Crespo.
And Longbacks.
And today we had Bluff from New York, President Bluff, joining us with the mango, White Claw,
Mango
Claws.
Shout out White Claw.
Yeah, so if there's anything, any project that you have out that you want to tell the people about real quick before we go, or something new you got coming, just let them know what's going on.
So first and foremost, shout out to Sound Booth. Thank you for this opportunity. I got an EP/project. Who knows, you might get some more songs on it coming out in the spring. But other than that, shout out all my boys back in Long Island, New York, all the people I've met on Twitter. Shout out Root Deep Productions. That's the family. Producer Public, Crema J, Lil Tab, JD, Books, all those people. And
there you go.
Shout out you guys once again.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure, and have a great rest of your day. And we'll keep you updated on the release. But other than that, everybody who's tuning in, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you guys next time.
All right. Thank you.
You're